In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to make Photoshop run faster by freeing scratch disk space and allocating more RAM. Photoshop can feel sluggish when it runs out of fast working room. It relies on two things to stay responsive: available disk space for the scratch disk and enough RAM. Today, we'll focus on clearing room for the scratch disk and then telling Photoshop it can use more memory safely. First, free up scratch disk space. The scratch disk is just a portion of your drive that Photoshop uses as temporary workspace when your RAM fills up. If that drive is packed, Photoshop has nowhere to breathe. Aim to keep at least 20 to 40 gigabytes free at all times. Close Photoshop to make sure no temp files are in use. Then remove files you don't need, large duplicates, old exports, and other temporary items. Empty your recycle bin or trash so the space is truly released. If your system offers a built-in disk cleanup tool, run it to clear caches and temporary system files safely. Avoid deleting anything you're unsure about and never touch active project folders. When you're done, check the drive's free space and confirm you've got that 20-40 gigabyte cushion. Keeping that buffer helps prevent scratch disk warnings and gives Photoshop the headroom it needs for big layers, smart objects, and complex filters. Next, allocate more RAM to Photoshop. Open Photoshop and go to Edit Preferences Performance. On macOS, open the Preferences from the Photoshop menu, then choose Performance. In the memory usage section, you'll see how much RAM is available and how much Photoshop is allowed to use. Drag the slider to increase the allowed amount. A good starting point is to give Photoshop more while leaving enough headroom for your operating system and other apps. Often around 70 to 80% works well on many machines, but adjust based on your setup. If you multitask with other heavy programs, be a bit conservative. If Photoshop is your main tool, you can allocate more. Click OK to save. If Photoshop prompts you, restart the app so the changes take effect. After relaunching, open a typical project and pan, zoom, or run a filter to feel the difference. If things speed up and your system stays responsive, you found a good balance. If the system feels strained, reduce the allocation slightly. And if you still see scratch disk warnings, free a bit more drive space. That's it. By keeping your scratch disk clear and thoughtfully increasing memory usage, you give Photoshop the room it needs to work smoothly without complicated tweaks.